Hi, this is Marcy Rossi with the San Antonio Art League and Museum. Today we are talking to Vikki Fields. Hi, Vikki. How are you?
Hi, Marcy. I'm well, thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role at the San Antonio Art League?
Well, I've been with the San Antonio Art League for over 30 years and I've been on the board for a long time. I've done various committees and it's been an enjoyable experience. Right now, I'm head of collections with my co-chair, Nancy Kim. And that's something I really enjoy to do. We basically do primarily a lot of the installations at the Art League.
So that's wonderful. Let's jump right into talking about the permanent collection. What pieces in the permanent collection stand out to you as particularly significant to the history of the San Antonio Art League and Museum, and why?
Well, primarily, although we were founded in 1912, the Davis Commission gave the permanent collection a boost. And it attracted artists from all over the nation to come in Texas and paint. And we are fortunate now to have a separate Davis Gallery where we can display at least a portion of the collection. I have to say that the paintings from this collection are particularly inspirational.
From the Davis collection
Mhm.
specifically, can you give us a little more details about the Davis collection and how it came about?
The Davis collection was initiated by an oil millionaire at that time, Edgar B. Davis. He contacted our president at that time, Ethel B. Drought, and told her that he wanted to do and subsidize an exhibition about Texas wildflowers. As he was walking around figuring out where to drill, he was really impressed with the wildflowers in Texas. So he and Mrs. Drought basically set up the exhibition, and it ran in 1927, 28, and 29. And this exhibition attracted artists from across the nation to come to Texas and paint. It focused primarily on wildflowers, and then it moved to ranching and cotton farming. And so we got some really wonderful paintings because there were purchase prizes and gave us a big boost to the permanent collection.
How has the permanent collection evolved over the years, and how do you see it reflecting the Art League's mission and legacy?
We have several exhibitions that add to our collection. We're now in our 90s as far as hosting a juried exhibition. This is open to, it started out with all artists within 60 miles of San Antonio that were over 18. In the last couple of years, we've expanded it to all Texas artists. We offer numerous awards, but the Purchase Prize Award, which is named for the underdogs, it is what goes into our permanent collection. And beside the jury show, every year we have an Artist of the Year nominated and chosen, and they're given a one-man show and a catalog. They usually donate a piece to the permanent collection.
Wow.
And this is an ongoing thing through the years. So you will see pieces in our collection that represent regionalism, abstract expressionism, minimalism, photoreal, and representational art. And these are represented by painting, sculpture, collage, print, and ceramics. So this shows you what the artists are doing at that time, and it's picked from a body of work. Some of the people that enter the juried show, it's the first juried show they've entered, and they're always delighted to get in. We look forward to this exhibition every year because it's always exciting.
Can you share a memorable story or discovery about one of the artworks or artists represented in the collection?
Eloise Stoker, a ceramic artist, has a piece in the permanent collection depicting animal tracks coming to water, and it is currently on display in the front wall of the museum outside. And I was able to visit Eloise and Jim Stoker, who are both in the permanent collection, on the Guadalupe River, where both Eloise and Jim's cabin was. And this was an inspiration to a lot of their work, being out in nature. Eloise with the ceramics and the animal tracks and different things she was working on, and Jim with a wide variety of the flowers and the foliage along the Guadalupe.
Are there any gaps or opportunities for expanding the collection to reflect emerging trends or unrepresented artists?
Well, the juried show is open to all artists over 18, and the collegiate exhibition, which we do every year, and we invite art instructors from the different colleges to submit their students' work. This gives new people a chance to they bring their friends to come and look at their pieces. They are shown in a museum show, which is good for their resumes. So we feel that this, along with the juried show, is a good way that keeps us up to date and continually expanding our permanent collection.
Your dedication to painting from life rather than photographs is inspiring. Can you talk about why this approach is important to you and how it influences your work?
Everything moves when you paint in natural light from life. In portraits, the sitter never sits still. Flowers move, wilt, and change color. Landscapes, the light and shadow changes, fruits rot. This doesn't allow you to be too precious and leaves to more spontaneity, and it's more fun too. A lot of people do paint from photographs and do a good job. The ones that do a good job are usually artists that have painted from life. And my choice is to paint things that are live and life-size, if at all possible.
Do you ever take a picture and then work afterwards?
On this current portrait that I'm working on, I sketched the image on the canvas. I concentrated first on her face. It was a 3-hour session. Before we ended, I took a photograph mainly so I could block in the clothing. I keep the clothing simple. And it's helpful if I can block in the clothing in the background. And then she will come again and we will concentrate on the hands.
Vikki, let's talk about your personal work. Is that a piece of yours behind you?
Yes, this behind me, this is a triptych. It's from the Davis Mountain Park. There I painted this and the 3 pieces over a 3-day session. Over here you can kind of see another triptych.
Wow.
That was done. This was done at a different place during the park. It's slightly bigger. I painted the one in back of me in the morning and the one to the side that you saw in the afternoon. Most of my plein air paintings are small because that way you can get them within the time period that the light is pretty much the same. It's more of a possibility to get things done. I have done larger paintings from small paintings that I've done in plein air in the studio, but they just never have the oomph and spontaneity that the plein air paintings do for me.
What are some of the challenges and joys you experience as an artist painting from life?
I do not do small children. They don't like to sit still. It's very frustrating. And I don't do animals.
Okay.
So they move too. Unless you have a cat that sleeps. Cats are more cooperative.
That leads to the next question. Are there any particular subjects or setting you're most drawn to when painting from life? And why do they resonate with you?
I paint landscapes from nature, of course. I have a yard and a garden where throughout the seasons, I have flowers blooming out there, interesting vegetation. I can bring them in and paint them. And it's almost like they kind of force I'm so beautiful, come paint me. And I try to paint life size as much as possible. When the produce looks good and it's in season, I'll paint produce. Most of the things I paint are alive in some way, rather than a still life filled with, dead things.
As
Yes.
an artist and curator, how do you balance your creative practice with your curatorial responsibilities with San Antonio Art League?
I go to a lot of museums here in town, as much as possible. A lot of galleries. I look at art. When I walk into a museum, I will stop and look at an overview. I'll look at the flow. I'll look at the choices that they've made, and that's very instructive. And inspirational. When I can, I visit museums in Houston and Dallas. I enjoy looking at art. I think it's important for artists to do that. And it's great as far as being able to see what the museums are doing in their installations.
Vikki, how has your work with a permanent collection and the Art League influenced your personal art?
Well, I'm happy to have two paintings in the permanent collection.
Oh,
One
wow.
was an Onderdonk winner, which is up now in our Onderdonk show, where we curated from the Onderdonk winners in the permanent collection and exhibition that is up in the Art League now. And my painting is behind the front door as you walk in. Nancy Kemp and Nancy Campbell and I, along with our installation crew, installed that now. So I would invite everybody to come see. There is a wide variety of art yet. So I'm always happy, and I've been fortunate to have some one-man shows, and it's always so encouraging to see your art up on a museum or a gallery wall. It's just very affirming to have your art on display in a good museum or a gallery. And I can say that my first piece in a juried exhibition ever was in the San Antonio Art League exhibition, which just thrilled me back in '69.
What role do you see art playing in creating a sense of community, both within the Art League and the wider San Antonio area?
Kansas was community and life.
Mm.
Through public art museums, artist talks, lectures, and classes. Um, I talk to young artists frequently, and I talk about the presentation of their art. I think we're very fortunate to have the number of museums that we have here in San Antonio. The San Antonio Museum of Art, McNay's a favorite all the time. The Briscoe, Ruby City, all of the museums and the galleries that we have available to us, and a lot of the galleries are free. You can go and look. They don't force you to buy anything. They're happy to have you come in. You can see what the artists in your community are doing. There are murals out in San Antonio. There are public sculptures out. They've done so much with the museum reach. Just go out and look. Oh, and the Art League is free.
As someone who has won awards for your work, how do you use your experience to mentor or inspire other artists in the community?
I talk to young artists frequently. I talk about the presentation of their art, the showing possibilities, and the opportunities for open drawing sessions and classes that will improve their technical skills and be inspiring. I encourage them to go out and look at art and what's seen out there.
What advice would you give to emerging artists who are looking to make an impact in both their art and art in their community?
It's very important to have good images of your art nowadays. This allows you to enter exhibitions and place your their work in artist registry. San Antonio has an artist registry. I've had my work there to look to quality and good presentation in your art. It's important that your art doesn't fall apart from a curator's and installer's perspective.
Vikki, what motivates you most in your dual roles as curator and artist?
Seeing a variety of artwork is motivating. Also, road trips through Texas, through New Mexico, trips down into Mexico, flowers in my garden, the farmer's market, looking at all the beautiful vegetables and paintable things there. All those things are motivations for me. Looking through books at artist art that I admire.
Are there any particular artists that you admire?
Oh, they're almost too numerable to mention. You look for different things in different artists. You look for the way one artist handles color and light. You look for the way another artist handles composition. You try to pick and choose and meld what's coming together in your art, and hopefully come up with an individual style, which over the years I think I have.
What's your background?
I have a BA in fine art from Incarnate Word. When we were younger, we moved around a lot after I was married. So after that, it gets kind of, I have a teaching certificate from UT El Paso. I have graduate study art from UTS. I've taken many seminars and classes. I monitored the life drawing class at the Cupini Academy for a couple of years. Pompeo Cupini, who started that out, and that's his legacy, was also a first signer in 1912 as one of the originators of the San Antonio Art League.
I didn't know that.
We have the original document with all the signatures on it. He both of the Onderdonks, Eleanor Onderdonk was very was a very significant person in initiating and basically doing the curation and the installation of a lot of the early exhibitions at the San Antonio Art League.
Okay. And that's why you had the Underdog award. Looking back on your career, Vikki, what achievements or moments are you most proud of?
The one-man shows, which allow you to show your work as you would like it seen primarily, were very good. Even though some of them didn't sell very much, that's kind of iffy sometimes. Some of them do, some of them don't. Just having your pieces up in a clean, well-lit space where they're not competing with a bunch of other artists, and it basically gets your view across is very inspirational. I've started lately to do some small art books that you can self-publish. I'm doing mine through Blurb, that allows me to put together the same vision I would have with the one-man shows. I have little 7x7 hardcover books on florals, on fruit and vegetables, on landscape, and I've recently done one on my drawings, basically drawings of flowers primarily from my backyard. I'm selling them at Prudencia.
Okay. If you could give a single piece of wisdom to someone stepping into the role of curator at the Art League, what would it be?
Look around. Look at what nature does. Look at what other artists do. Look at how the museums show things, and familiarize yourself with all kinds of art. We put up all kinds of art in the Art League. We are limited with our space as far as the sizes we can put, but with those limitations, we show a bunch of things. Don't just look at what you like. Look at the other things that are out there too, and see how they're exhibited. You may not like everything you see in the museums, but it helps. It broadens you.
What's one thing about the San Antonio Art League and Museum that you wish people knew?
Um, that we're free, that we're manned primarily by volunteers. We have docents when you come into the museum that should be able to talk to you about what's up. Um, you can be a member. You don't have to be an artist to be a member. When you look at the memberships in the other museums and art organizations around, we are very cheap. We have a student membership that I think is $15 a year now. When
Well,
you're a member, we send you invitations to all of our openings. You get notices on the classes that we offer, the lectures that are going to be going on. That's and also, we're basically representative of this region. We're a regional museum.
what legacy do you hope to leave behind for the Art League and the broader arts community?
As far as personally, I don't worry about legacy.
Hmm.
I worry about fire. I worry about worry about destruction of art in
Well,
in my own possession, and I worry. We worry about the collection. We have a new annex that we're able to store the collection in a safe space that is climate controlled. For long years, we didn't have a permanent place until the 80s when we were able to purchase that little house in King William. We were first at the Whitty, then we were at the Belgium exhibition place in Hemisphere. We were at the Kohler House for a while. So our pieces were kind of stored here and there, and then they were stored in our building for a while in closets and things. And so now we are able to have a permanent storage place on the premises, and this is a problem for all museums.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you keep the space where the artwork is going to be kept well?
So you
Uh,
say your legacy is
mhm.
protecting the art for the
Yes,
next
yes.
generation.
And encouraging local artists. A bunch of the exhibitions we have are open to all San Antonio artists that are over 18. And we have classes. A lot of our artists will hold 2 3 day seminars. Classes can be very helpful. If you're looking for a new direction, sometimes you just need to dip your toe into a few new classes and things, and we provide those. One of my inspirations after some of my graduate work out at UTSA, I found an artist teacher that was excellent in the direction I wanted to go, Eva Marie Templeton. And she was German, and she came out of the Dresden Art School. And she taught in a very classical way, except we didn't do casts. We did everything from life. She was very particular, but she brought you through the stages that at that time your college art classes were not doing. Um, and it filled a lot of gaps for me and gave me a lot of confidence to do what I'm doing now.
Love that. I love that you're bringing honor to her too by even mentioning her. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. Have a good day.
Thank you, Marcy. Bye.